A brand new truck. Less than 400 miles on the odometer. Engine destroyed before the first payment is even due. Right now, in 2026, more than 1 million vehicles are caught up in recalls tied to engine failures. Parked cars catching fire in driveways and garages, brand new trucks dying on the highway with no warning. 9 brands, 9 engines, all failing, all already sold to people who had no idea what they were buying. Let's go through them. Honda built its reputation on engines that just don't quit. The brand you buy expecting 300,000 miles with zero drama. This Turbo 4 shows up in the Civic, CR-V, and Accord, 3 of the best-selling vehicles in the country. And from day one, it's had a problem: fuel dilution. Raw gasoline washes past the piston rings and drips into the oil pan, thinning the oil until it can no longer protect the metal. Bearings and rings wear out far faster than they should. Honda made adjustments over the years, and people assumed it was fixed. It wasn't. The newer issue is early head gasket failure, sometimes as soon as 60,000 miles, which is barely broken in for a Honda. When the gasket goes, coolant floods the combustion chamber and the engine is finished. Repair cost around $5,000 on the exact vehicles people buy specifically to avoid $5,000 repair bills. Honda is now facing an active class action lawsuit with no extended warranty or goodwill program offered. If you're shopping a non-hybrid Accord or CR-V, check the engine code before you sign anything. This one's been going on so long it's hard to believe. 1 engine, a dozen badges: Jetta, Tiguan, Atlas, Passat, Audi A3, A4, F5, Q3, Q5, sold to millions of buyers who thought they were getting European engineering excellence. The EA888 has existed since 2008. Volkswagen already settled 1 massive class action over turbocharger failure covering model years 2008 through 2024, and a second suit followed over catastrophic oil consumption caused by defective piston rings. When that oil consumption gets bad enough, the only real fix is a full engine replacement. Add in failing PCV valves, timing cover leaks, and bad water pumps, and this engine is under attack from every direction. The gut punch. The brand new 2026 VW Taos is rolling off the line right now with this same engine. 16 years, the same defects, still being sold. Jeep sells the Wrangler and Grand Cherokee as tough, rugged, built for anything, then puts in an engine that struggles with ordinary daily driving. In late 2025, roughly 100,000 vehicles were recalled over manufacturing defects that could cause catastrophic engine failure or fire in trucks still on their first set of payments. And the failures don't stop there. Head gasket failure, cracked cylinder liners, cracked pistons, oil and coolant leaks, turbocharger failure. This engine seems to be failing in every way an engine can fail. Jeep has since rolled out a redesigned 2.0 L-Turbo for the 2026 Grand Cherokee. It sounds promising, but there's zero long-term data on it yet, and given Jeep's recent track record, that's not something to take on faith. If you're considering one, waiting a couple of years for real-world reliability data isn't a bad idea. Found in the Escape and Bronco Sport, everyday vehicles people buy expecting a reliable commuter. On paper, a small turbocharged 3-cylinder sounds efficient and modern. In practice, it's a high-stress design, and owners are reporting coolant intrusion into the cylinders, overheating, and loss of compression, problems that typically mean a full engine replacement, not a quick fix. This isn't new territory for Ford. Earlier EcoBoost 1.5L and 1.6L 4-cylinders faced lawsuits over the same failure mode: coolant leaking into the engine and causing catastrophic damage. Ford made changes and promised improvements, and yet a smaller engine is again being asked to do more work than it was built to handle long-term. Found in the Chevy Trax and Trailblazer, and the Buick Envision and Encore, affordable, practical vehicles aimed at first-time buyers. GM took a small displacement engine already working near its limits and added a turbocharger, piling on more heat and pressure than it was ever designed for. The result: bearing failure, connecting rod damage, oil leaks, and sudden loss of propulsion, sometimes on the highway, with no warning. Making matters worse, replacement engines have been backordered, leaving some owners without a vehicle for weeks or months. Class action lawsuits have already been filed, and while there's no official recall yet, the complaint volume suggests one may not be far off. If you own one of these, keep an eye on oil consumption and listen for any knocking or ticking. This one is different from the rest. It's not a worn-out engine catching up with age or mileage. It's a brand new engine that left the factory assembled incorrectly. Found in the 2025 and 2026 Bronco, Ranger, Explorer, and Mustang, it has two separate defects. First, a small metal circlip that holds the piston pin in place was missing on some units because the machine installing it was misaligned. Without that clip, the piston pin can shift sideways, gouge the cylinder wall, and destroy the engine from the inside, usually announced by a metallic knock, by which point serious damage has already occurred. Second, the camshaft roller finger follower can come loose while the engine is running, causing a sudden loss of power at any speed. Ford has issued two separate recalls covering nearly 48,000 vehicles across Ford and Lincoln. The fix requires a full engine replacement, and parts availability isn't expected until November 2026. If you own an affected Bronco, Ranger, or Explorer, check your VIN at NHTSA.gov, and if the engine knocks or loses power, stop driving immediately. If you've followed the auto industry over the last decade, this name alone probably triggered a reaction. The Theta 2 isn't just a problem engine, it's arguably the most notorious engine failure story in modern automotive history. Millions of vehicles recalled. Rod bearing failure, piston ring failure, engine seizures, and even vehicles catching fire while parked. The fallout included multiple class action lawsuits, NHTSA investigations, record government fines, and congressional scrutiny. To their credit, Hyundai and Kia have largely moved past this with their newer SmartStream engines, which perform significantly better. That's real progress worth acknowledging. But here's the catch. Right now, in 2026, the Kia Seltos is still sold with a version of this same Theta 2 engine. If you're shopping a Seltos, check the spec sheet before anything else. If it lists the 2.0L Theta 2 4-cylinder, that's a deal breaker. This one challenges what a lot of people believe about Toyota, the brand people pay a premium for because they trust the engine to outlast the car itself. The 3.4L twin-turbo V6 introduced in the redesigned 2022 Tundra has become one of the biggest reliability problems in Toyota's recent history. The issue traces back to manufacturing. Leftover metal shavings inside the engine that travel through the oil passages and reach the main bearings, which carry some of the heaviest load in the engine. Once contaminated, those bearings can fail suddenly, often with little warning, typically requiring a full engine replacement. Toyota has issued 3 separate recalls for this same root cause, most recently in May 2026, covering more than 43,500 additional 2024 Tundras. That same 3.4L V6 is also used in the Sequoia, Lexus GX, and Lexus LX, so the risk isn't limited to one nameplate. Until Toyota confirms a permanent fix, this is a powertrain worth approaching cautiously. The most widespread and damaging engine problem on this list, and once again it traces back to General Motors. These V8s power the Chevy Silverado and Tahoe/Suburban, and the GMC Sierra and Yukon, some of the best-selling trucks and SUVs in America. GM added cylinder deactivation to improve fuel economy, shutting down half the cylinders during light driving. In practice, the lifters that manage this can collapse, sending metal through the engine and destroying the camshaft, sometimes with only a few hundred miles on the odometer. The 6.2L V8 has a separate issue. According to GM's own filings, some crankshafts from a supplier weren't finished to spec but still ended up in customer vehicles. When a rod bearing fails on one of these, a connecting rod can break loose and punch through the engine block, sometimes at highway speed. In 2025, GM recalled roughly 597,000 trucks and SUVs in the US and more than 700,000 worldwide, estimating around 18,000 engines could need full replacement. For many owners, the initial fix was just an inspection and thicker oil, and failures kept happening. By early 2026, federal regulators opened a new investigation into whether GM's repair actually works, after owners reported repeat failures following dealer service. Outside of warranty, a replacement 6.2L V8 can run $12,000 to $15,000 installed. This is the V8 inside some of the most important trucks in America, And even some fixed engines may not be out of the woods. If you've owned any of these vehicles and dealt with an engine failure, share what happened. It could help someone else avoid the same costly mistake.